Get promos and discounts from Filipino startups. Check out our partners at the description. Neil David is founder at KoleK. Hello, Neil. Welcome to Startup Podcast. We're very happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jenny. Hello, everyone.
Yes, kamusta? So, if I'm right, I know you're based at Cebu. So, kamusta? Kamusta, Neil?
Yes, naman. Yeah, definitely. I'm based in Cebu right now. Last year I was based in Singapore, but had to come back to the Philippines um doing the business here.
Yeah, this is actually an exciting story. Ano, I saw that KoleK is actually based at Singapore, and you actually have markets in Latin America, but you're based in the Philippines. So medyo connections to
It's a
medyo malawak ang geographical na in-occupy ng KoleK. But let's start with the first question, ano, Neil. So ano nga ba ang KoleK?
Basically, KoleK is a finance management platform for SMEs. So we're currently focusing right now on accounts receivables and accounts payables for these SMEs, right? What we do is we help them to provide more visibility on their financials and also help them to help them to facilitate the collection for their accounts receivable.
Yeah, so accounts receivables, finance. So actually, when I was a bit younger, ano, when I was in college, nag-take ako ng Accounting 101. So I personally can relate dito.
Okay.
Although medyo hindi ko rin forte ito, yung mga assets, liabilities, and especially financial management for SMEs. Ito yung medyo magulo minsan. Some people actually, they ano nga, parang sometimes na-underrate ito, ano. But dun siguro papasok yung parang yung critical point na tinatry i-solve ni KoleK. But let's go there, ano. So, first, can you explain muna, ano ba itong mga accounts receivables na ito? Ano ba itong financial management na ito for SMEs? Bakit nga ba ito parang problem? Bakit nga ba may problem dito? And what really are you trying to solve with KoleK?
Definitely, ito na part sa business kasi. Ito yung most parang underserved, 'di ba? So, in a, in a in a in the modern like business right now, we have software for the yung mga CRM, yung mga pang inventory for order taking, POS, parang ganun. And then for the finance side of the business, we have like the accounting software, which basically is help record parang what has been done already. But no one is really solving them with the problem of doing the actual financial processes in a company. So we help them do that. Definitely, it's quite important for the company, but it's a bit boring na side. So parang definitely underserved siya sa business processes. Pero for us is that we help them collect their parang yung accounts receivables sila through also like setting up basically having this invoice life cycle to actually help their finance department manage those invoices, right? So it's the core cash flow is king for any businesses. So that's our number one goal here: provide to facilitate that cash flow for them.
Yeah, actually ang ganda ng iyong pag-explain. Unang-una, I'd like to comment about what you said, ano, usually in SMEs, actually hanap ng maraming SMEs now, and we know, I mean, I've noticed this, like sa patterns, like sa data ng Startup Podcast. Ang dami mga SMEs naghahanap ng mga ERP, ng mga inventory management, kasi ito yung kumbaga obvious problem na naranasan nila na saan napupunta yung mga stock ko, ang hirap manually i-track ng mga stocks ko, ng mga inventory, ang hirap kumbaga ita-track ko kung pagkabili ng customer, napadala na ba, ilan pa yung nasa akin, and then minsan nagkakaroon ng miscounts. And then, in an SME kasi, hindi na naman inventory, hindi na naman actual physical thing yung nagpapatakbo ng business. Actually, sabi nga nila, yung finance, yun yung parang dugo, yung parang resource, yung nagpapatakbo kumbaga dun sa negosyo. Inventory, itong mga stocks na ito yung kumbaga operations. What you see, what you can physically see, and what the customers or what other people can like actually see. Pero yung mismong nagpapadaloy nung operations, yung mismong kumbaga nagpapadulas or kumbaga yung gears din somehow nung business ay yung finance and actually yung cash flow. Cash is king. Hindi pwedeng lahat kumbaga nakaalalay na lang sa credit, debit, ganyan. We need cash, pampasweldo, pambili directly. So ano no, can you give like a glimpse lang ano, how does this work? How kumbaga nangyayari yung automation ng billing, etc. So ano bang at saka ano ba parang pain points na nararanasan ng mga business like meron bang times na parang hindi na nata-track na maayos yung financials nila and may mga hindi nako-collect or may mga hindi nababayaran or something like that?
Sure, sure. So this is definitely very interesting. And then when we tested this out last year, when we were doing like an MVP, we were actually talking to a lot of businesses. So by this time, we were still in Singapore, me and my co-founder. So we were contacting businesses from like in Brazil, also Philippines, and also in Singapore. We found out that the problems with this receiving payments from businesses to their like customers with their clients is that it's the lack of visibility. So they've sent an invoice to them, and then their customer or client forgot about it. Another thing would be like they also forgot about it. So they sent the invoice and then that's it. They continue on with their business. And then the last part would be um it's more of like not having the reminders to know that okay, this is due, right? And it's only a matter of just asking for the payment to come in or to be done, right? So it's quite interesting because majority of the businesses are willing to pay, but they won't pay unless you collect, right? And for you as well, you want to maintain that level of how would I say this relation with the business. So you don't businesses are also um, mindful of not trying to keep asking for money or trying to like collect that invoice because they still have work kind of like existing working relationship with the client. So they probably would be working with this client for a couple of months, but the first invoice was probably forgotten, but the client has already paid the newer invoices. So it's kind of hard to go back and say like, hey, can the first or the very first invoices still haven't paid because they don't want to ruin that relationship with the client. But if it's coming from a third party, someone else that's saying that, hey, you still don't have this unpaid invoices, or if you have paid, could you work with our, your finance department in order to clarify things? So that's definitely an interesting thing that we discovered that the problem there is just also like reminder and visibility. Right?
Yeah. That's actually a good point ano. Maybe nga in traditional systems ano, like email lang no, sa email lang yan yung transaction,
Mm.
sa email din papadala yung invoice and then yung payment maybe in some other channel pa. Pero yung tracking, yung reminding and yung tawag dito, yung parang confirmation na itong invoice na 'to ay nabayaran na ng buo. Sometimes din kasi yung mga invoices ay puwedeng partial yung payment. So, yung tracking din mismo nung if this invoice is already like finished and like kailan ganyan ano. So, dun pumapasok yung
Uh,
parang pagkakaroon ng third party financial manager, you can say collector, you can say all of these things ano. Pero I mean, can you give like the whole scope of what you can do really for an SME, for a company? So, ano yung lahat ng kumbaga activities or like tasks na puwedeng gawin ni KoleK as a financial management system for SMEs. So basically, can you also like tell about the platform and how does it work?
Sure. So for us right now, we are still currently how to call this focusing on accounts receivables. So not yet on the payable side, but with accounts receivable, it might be parang medyo different siya, no? Kasi our market is in Brazil. So in Brazil, we're connected with ERP solutions. We are connected with banking as a service providers. We're connected with open finance. So we can talk more about like why we're at this market, but it's mainly because of this open finance movement, right? So what Collect does is that we uh, businesses or our clients can integrate their finances through um, like importing spreadsheet into our system, could be connected to their ERP. So every time they issue an invoice to their like accounting systems or even to their like ERPs, and when they generate an order, like it's going to create an invoice, it goes to our platform. And in our platform, we have like these life cycle settings where um, if an invoice is generated, then in our platform, we'll create like sets of reminders to help facilitate this visibility, right? So we will usually do like 5 days before it can be set by the client, right? We can do like 5 days before reminder, on the due date, after the due date, and then we also have like a module for like debt collection. So talking just doing like a side bit here, for debt collection, basically when you're talking about debt or like default, it's basically already like zero, right? You don't expect any more from that invoice. So an interesting thing that we were able to do is that we were able to help these our clients that get paid basically on about 50 to 60%. So it's a quite a high number since it's already that, and no one is already thinking of it as something that can still be paid, right? So that's quite an interesting number for us as well. So we help them with this debt collection as well. It's usually like a cycle of like a weekly reminder to that we send to their customers saying that, hey, you still have this outstanding like consolidated invoices that you need to get paid. And then since so this is the most interesting part of our platform is that we are connected through open finance. We are connected with their banks. They connect their bank account into our platform, and then we're able to see their bank statement. From this, we can do a reconciliation of what has been paid, what they received in the bank, and then see like which of these invoices are paid. So right now, the for a lot of majority of the businesses that we've talked to already is that their finance department are doing this like like through Excel spreadsheets. They could be like downloading the downloading the PDF, the Excel or the file from the bank, their bank statements, and then having this list of their accounts receivables in their in a spreadsheet, and then comparing like which how these like statements reconcile to the invoices, right? So we help them with that very very painful part, because in order for us to keep sending these reminders to their customers, we also need to know what has been paid to avoid like
Mm.
sending like billing your client when they have already paid, like that just creates a bad it's bad for the business basically. And then the last part of the solution right now is that we are working with a banking as a service supplier. So KoleK act as a digital bank. So when we send an invoice to the client, we provide them with payment methods. So when they pay through the payment methods, we can definitely 100% reconcile with what this payment is for. So that's the thing, right? Reconciliation, if it's not coming through a digital account, it's a bit hard because there's a lack of visibility there. Just imagine this. Just imagine this. You're sending them an invoice for like, let's say 500 pesos, right? And they make a payment on that 500 pesos, but they're using someone else's account. Like it could be like a different company account or even like a personal account from someone in the company, right? Sorry. So when someone is looking in the bank transaction, it will just say like payment received through this and that. It could possibly say like the payer's name or something like that. So for the finance department, they would be seeing this 500 payment coming through. But if there's like a lot of invoices with 500 worth
Yeah,
500
exactly.
pesos, then it would be hard for them to know like which is which. Sorry. And then for our clients, they have about uh, probably 500 to 1,000 clients. They'll be doing like 1,000 to 5,000 transactions like in a month. So that's definitely a problem when things are coming in the bank account and you don't know which is getting paid. So yeah, that's
Yes,
the that's
actually
the probably the end-to-end solution.
yes, very end-to-end actually. And actually, ang pinaka-natutulungan pala nito, sa like in an SME is yung finance department mismo and yung like yung accounting, yung the accounting people na yung gumagawa ng pagre-reconcile nung accounts
Mhm.
receivables and sino na like this amount saan mismo ito galing, this invoice saan ba ito dumaan and alin na nga yung mga kumbaga yung tracking not just of like alin na yung mga nabayaran but tracking mismo nung connection nung cash nung credit, nung invoice, etc. But you mentioned about open finance, ano, can we just know a bit about this? I mean, ano ba itong open finance na ito, like, especially in Latin America?
So it's already growing all over the world now, and it's not something new. In the Philippines, we also have that, but it's more of like probably I may be using wrong words here, no, so don't take um, my word for it, Jun. But for the Philippines, it's more of like market driven. Um, it's not really being pushed by the central bank that like all banks should have these APIs out so that third party players
Hmm.
can connect to you for like financial information, right? So we are seeing this already from Union Bank, and then there's also like an open finance provider here in the Philippines, which is called Branca. So shout out to them. We've worked with them in the past as well. And then but in Brazil, it's more of like regulatory driven. So the central bank there, the Banco Central, is really pushing all of the banks to have these APIs out by the end of like a certain year. So they gave them like about 2 years to do this like before, in a way. And they managed to comply. So we like that approach as well, that it's being pushed rather than we're just waiting for the market to ask for it and then build when someone's asking. So this helps players that want to, or companies or startups that want to work with this like banks to facilitate or handle this data for their clients, right? So there's a lot of applications for this open finance, definitely.
Yeah, so it's actually in the larger financial or maybe fintech ecosystem, ano. So you mentioned na this is maybe one of the reasons why kumbaga mas nagwo-work si KoleK sa Latin America, especially sa Brazil, ano. But in the future ba, like, do you have any plans to go to the Philippines and or even in the Southeast Asian market? No. So what do you think about this?
No, definitely. Like Philippines is probably part of our roadmap, but maybe not in the near future. So we're still trying to definitely hold our ground in Latin America, especially with this regulated open finance movement there. But definitely, once I would say, but in the Philippines, like things are really progressing, especially with this open finance suppliers here. So definitely, Philippines is part of the roadmap, and we've already slightly did a test, like doing some interviews and also like mini MVPs before last year, and then trying to see where the market is at. Right. The and another thing would be SMEs are is a very, very huge market, right? We all know this, diba? So SMEs is a very huge market, but their adoption to technology is quite
Mhm.
probably not there, right? So it's hard for them to to adopt to technology unless it solves a bigger pain than adopting to technology, right? because for them, if it takes a huge chunk of their effort, and then they're also their operations to migrate to working in this, like, digital platform, or whatever solution you have, then they probably won't go with you. So that's the tough part of the SMEs. It's the
Yes.
adaptability.
Yeah, thinking about that, I mean, SMEs usually small and medium enterprises. So, by definition, they have less people, kumbaga, and maybe makokorek mo ito sa sometimes they are leaner pa, they are medyo tipid-tipid pa sa resources. So, it's not, I mean, ang technology kasi usually it's a big investment for like a large leap, like for scaling, for acceleration. So usually mas madaling nakakapag-adapt into like higher tech yung mga, for example, mga startups na may investment, may kumbaga may injection ng investment, may acceleration, and then they use that tech to further scale their operations or to accelerate whatever they're doing. But can we just get a picture lang ano, like yun nga, so maybe you have your target market is like for SMEs or maybe for some startups or maybe for even large companies. So um is there an industry, is there a specific industry or is there a specific something that maybe yung pinaka magkakaroon ng advantage kay KoleK? So maybe to get a picture lang ano, so sa mga possible users and possible na magbe-benefit nga from what KoleK is doing.
Sure. So we do have clients that are startups as well. Definitely, these guys understand more the solution that we provide, and they're easy to adapt as well with the solution. Another sector is the accounting sector for us. We do have a lot of not a lot, a few of the accounting firms in Brazil that we're working with. So it's a pain point for them because they do have like 1,000 clients, like 2,000, 3,000 clients. So it's a problem for them when it's time to, like, to start collecting, start reconciling. So that's the current like sector we're at right now. But we are also like trying to see other sectors, but as of the moment, like the accounting sector, and at the same time like working with other startups as well.
Yeah, so puwede pala itong kumbaga, works like an in-house for a company or puwede rin like tool, like an upgrade for the accounting sector ano. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how tech goes din naman, eh. I mean, you can focus as on a certain company like on the accounting and puwede ring like for a bigger third party platform to be integrated into them ano. That's actually a very good insight dito. Punta tayo sa stories ano, Neil and kay KoleK. So, can you tell us a bit more of your background? Paano nga ba nag-start si KoleK? Especially, starting a startup is not easy, and starting a startup in Latin America, in Brazil is of course not easy. So, puwedeng pakuwento ng inyong journey. How did it all start and paano kayo napadpad? I mean, paano kayo napunta kumbaga sa Brazil exactly?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and then I get asked a lot regarding that question, because it's in people's minds, right? Like, why Philippines, why Singapore, and then why Brazil? Like a lot of geography. So to start the story, probably a bit of my background is that I'm a software engineer by, like, by profession when I started out way back, and then I ventured into business. So we I do have a business here in the Philippines, which is providing like software solutions and outsourcing services. And then early last year, I ventured out to Singapore to join this kind of like accelerator program, which is with Antler. So
Antler.
Antler is a global VC as well, and they do have these programs in Singapore to help founders, right? Founders, entrepreneurs, domain experts. So they invite like other people. You can apply, and then for me, like, I I've been doing I've been working on my startups before, and then it's quite tough because the my personal like mindset for startups here in the Philippines is like bootstrapping, right? So that's the only way to do it, like bootstrapping, bootstrapping, bootstrapping. And then when I went to like Singapore, being part of this like accelerator, joining and the Antler program, it opened my mind to understanding that bootstrapping is not always the way, right? It's sad to say, but bootstrapping is not always the way. And then doing it by yourself is definitely it's definitely not the way you should go if you're a first time founder. You should always look for a co-founder. So that was what Antler was pushing. Like they would invest if you manage to find a co-founder and you manage to work together. This definitely like helps them with their investment because for two people working on the same idea, it's less risk for them than rather than one person, right? But from my perspective as well, and then I've come to realize this that um, it's very good if you manage to find a co-founder, and at the same time, um, it it kind of how do I say this? The it strengthens. I'm trying to find the right words, but it gives more confidence that you're able to convince another person to join you in this new venture, right? Because if you can't convince anyone to work with you on a startup idea or even work with you at all, then that's probably a bit of a red flag from an investor's perspective. And at the same time, like yes, bootstrapping is one way to do it, and definitely I've been bootstrapping like all throughout, right? But it's also a good sign if you manage to get an investor to invest in you, right? Because it shows that either you have a solid idea or like an idea with potential, or you have a strong founding team that knows how to take this from like just a PowerPoint into like a proper execution. So during this Antler program, it was probably a 2 month program, and then we managed to get our investment um, started from August, and then we still bootstrap all the way because the investment is not a lot for us to really like move forward, but it's enough for us to kind of like get started, right? And then during the couple of months after receiving the investment, we check we check out the markets. So we checked out like Philippines, Singapore, I think Malaysia, and then yeah, we checked that market out, and also like my co-founder as well. He's from Brazil. He's Brazilian, and then
Mm.
um, we are also weighing the things here in terms of like market adaptability, the market size, and also like the potential for our solution. So he is also he's not a first time founder, so he is a second time founder already. He's just a really great guy. Um, very also has experience in doing like startup businesses, and he also managed to do an exit already. Way back 2021. So this is his second venture. He his background is on financial, so he was an ex CFO to his like startup. So there's a synergy there from like the finance side and also on the tech side. So with that, we decided to def try out and execute in Brazil, and then we it started in a more of like a network effect on reaching out to his personal network, reaching out to startup groups in Brazil. I would say it's a bit more I'd say like more progressive. Like Philippines is definitely like getting there. Our startup ecosystem is definitely like progressing and moving. And then with Brazil, like it's already been around for quite some time already. So we took that as a low hanging fruit for us to deploy in Brazil.
Yeah. First of all, what you told about your story, it's actually very, I mean, it's very, how do I say this? It's not so typical, na in Philippines, maraming mga solopreneurs. Kumbaga, yung mga Pilipinong gusto maging entrepreneur, they want to be an entrepreneur because simply or actually for stronger motivation, ayaw nila ng boss. So ayaw nila maging empleyado. So they choose to become an entrepreneur. Pero iba pa ito actually sa pagiging startup founder. Pero sa iyong kwento actually, you told the story like from being a solo entrepreneur, from being an entrepreneur, from and into the startup world. And na kumbaga nakita natin yung differences ng dynamics ng startup world like the dynamics with having a co-founder, the dynamics with getting investments or investors, and like the dynamics na you're building this business model and then maybe in the future you want to, I mean, your goal is to have an exit or you want to strengthen or you want to make robust this business model to deploy to a very large scale of or to a very large market. You also mentioned about your co-founder, for other listeners then, actually, I realized recently that that's very true na if you're a startup founder, lalo na if you're a solo founder, it's very good to find a co-founder na pwede rin siguro kumbaga ano yung skills nyo, synergize somehow what you lack, maybe he or
Yeah.
she has and what he or she lacks you have, So usually ito yung mga may tech guy, may tech guy and then may business guy or may sales guy or something. Pero do you think, I mean, how did you meet pala your co-founder and what do you think made him kumbaga really go on 100% on this venture with you? I mean, because I cannot imagine then I think it's also hard din to like have a foreigner co-founder especially na you then decided to venture into Brazil. So can you do you have some thoughts about that?
Yes, definitely if you go out and find a co-founder, then you'd probably be crazy, right? So because you'd be advertising to the world that, hey, like work with me, I'm doing this, like if anyone's interested, like be my co-founder or whatever. But with Antler, they have this like this platform, this space uh to find a co-founder, to find an idea, to and to see like how you work together. So maybe it would make sense if I dive a bit deeper on what Antler is, right? So um in layman's term, there I can probably say their program, their accelerator is like co-founder dating, right? Co-founder matching. It's like Tinder for co-founders, basically. So they have this program like every year, probably like twice a year, and then people from all around the world like apply to it, right? So in our cohort, um, I do see a couple of Filipinos, Filipino founders, a couple of uh, uh, founders from different like entrepreneurs from different backgrounds, and also other people there that are not even entrepreneurs, but they could be like domain experts, like software people, and then people with serial entrepreneurs as well. So they put you into this like a 12-month program, and then so sorry, 2 months program, and then you go to a series of like bootstrapping exercise to kind of find the right people to that you want to work with. And then um for me, like this my co-founder, he was the first person that I met on the program. Actually, it's a very close friend of mine that I met on the program. That we later became close friends, but we decided to not work with each other. And then kind of like, yeah, man, like let's not be partners here, let's be friends, something like that. So we started out like that for the first couple of weeks. We did the program like and afterwards, like we drink a lot of beers, right? So that's one of the most like networking you can do, and things like this is always the after the usually the after party per event is like having beers with a person. So along the weeks, I probably we have like five like a team sessions to do, and then probably on our fourth one we decided that because we couldn't find we couldn't probably I would say it was harder to vibe with other people, or like the synergy isn't there. So we decided on the fourth one to like, hey, okay, how about this? Like, let's just try to work with each other and see like how it goes. So it went well. We're able to definitely there's synergy there because we've been like, we've been drinking to we've been it might be like a bad thing to say, but we've been drinking like every night towards the whole program. We've been like we did some traveling together along those weeks as well. So there's definitely like synergy there. And then if you're looking for a co-founder, don't look for someone that's the same as you, because it's definitely not gonna work. Look for someone that complements what you're not able to do. Right. If you're both doing like the same thing, if you're experts on the same thing, then probably just be friends, and then like don't do startup together, because it's definitely not gonna complement. Well, it's my point of view, but yeah, so we are very complementary in that sense, because he is focused in he was like a CFO to his previous startup. So he's handling that part of the business while I'm in that. So now like he for our startup, he's taking the role as CEO. And then for me, like doing this first startup with they call this and also being venture back, it opened me to a lot of things that that I'm definitely not yet ready to take on that role, or I would say, or probably I would have done things different. But working with like this type of co-founder is um, helps me like grow as a founder myself, and understand like how this type of like a person like does their like thought processes um in that regard. So yeah, definitely it's a chance of like a synergy. And then it was not only us that kind of felt this way as well. It was also with our investors, like they kind of see that we do have like a good team, like a good we're very compatible in a way. So yeah.
Maybe important nga yung vibe ano or yung compatibility
Yeah.
between co-founders. So ano nga ba Neil ang future plans for KoleK? What really do you see in maybe the nearer future? And one thing I'd like to ask then, parang what do you think should happen, like for example in the Philippines or in Southeast Asia, for KoleK to be able to like to be deployed kumbaga in the Philippines, for example. So yeah, so parang what can happen in the future for KoleK to be in the Philippines, and what do you plan pa for KoleK?
Gotcha. Um, okay, so uh, I'm not sure the current status now, right? But one of the reasons why we did not deploy in the Philippines is that um, probably like banks are harder to work with. We're working with a business account, so and they don't give access to that, or there's only like one or two or a few banks that
Hmm,
provide this like access for like
I see.
this open finance thing. Um, so probably it's not yet ready in that sense. I'm not sure now, because with this like open finance suppliers that are coming in, like they're really making moves, like pushing helping us with the progress, right? Like building infrastructures and stuff. So definitely by that time, our solution then that's going to be deployed in Brazil will be ready to be
Yeah,
deployed here. The solution is fixing a very common problem. Um, and majority of the companies face the same problem. Like they have all these platform solutions for their business, but their finance team usually are still in spreadsheets. And then we we managed to to narrow down that this problem exists in all of the majority of the companies. So if our solution is able to work in Brazil, in Latin America, then probably deploying it to another country would still take some adjustments, some customizing it to or like more of like how they say this, like localizing it to a specific like
yeah,
country, but it it will be more or less gonna be the same. So yeah, we we need to make sure that our solution we have like proper like product market fit, and then we can
yeah.
confidently say that we're ready to deploy and to go out to another country.
Yeah, but that's true ano, kasi magkakaiba naman ng regulations or magkakaiba how the banks, like the networks of banks and even like how the central bank works with the kumbaga this commercial and this local banks. Yung regulations, yung ecosystem, the rules and like the whole network itself ano. So magkakaiba rin naman yan per country and but that's true, that's true. What KoleK is solving is actually a very common but critical problem actually for many SME startups, for actually for any company like yung accounting and yung finance department ng mga companies na ito. So, maraming salamat Neil for sharing about KoleK, for sharing about your journey. It is very insightful actually ano, learning about I mean, yung dynamics nga, yung difference ng startup, ng like building the startup or starting a startup and like a small, I mean like a business, yung pagiging entrepreneur and so thank you Neil. If our listeners pala want to find more information about you or about KoleK, so how can they get more information? Maybe you can lead them to the website or to social media channels or wherever they can contact you.
Sure. Definitely like find us at wecollect.com or find us at LinkedIn. Collect. It's there. You can find us there.
Yeah, so maraming salamat Neil. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for the time.
Thank you very much to our 33 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskDexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and many more. One CFO services, bookkeeping and tax, and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. DV Code Technologies, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, decentralized applications, and cybersecurity. Tuala, the next evolution of digital trust. Privacy-focused, seamless digital experience for sharing identity information across Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems. Divas, Web3 microblogging app promoting freedom of speech and content ownership. Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa and tocino. And Space Cebu, the biggest branch in the Philippines, global co-working space, meeting rooms and private offices for startups, digital nomads, and freelancers. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists. And Podify Team, podcast launch, production, editing, and management company, helping to increase podcasters' efficiency. This episode is powered by Uplift Code Camp, SeriousMD, Board Prep, Pareto Consulting, Zayls, and Packetworx. Please support the podcast through the links in the description.